Hey guys, and welcome to The Therapy Couch, aka TCP, the podcast where real life meets real emotions. Join me here each week where I'll be discussing topics to help you remember who the fuck you are and how to live your best life by being authentically you. We'll dive into the realm of the human experience, exploring the things that matter most: feelings, trauma, self-discovery, relationships, and all the other complexities that come with surviving the journey of life. I'm your host, Josie Dickerson, and I'm here to create a safe and supportive space where listeners can connect, reflect, and grow. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the Therapy Couch. Thank you all for joining me either again or for the first time. I'm Josie, and I am so excited for this episode because it's the first one in the mini-series, Awakening Authenticity, which is a 6-part series where we get down and dirty with decision making, finally fucking forgive ourselves and other people, practice mindfulness and gratitude, measure our self-awareness, and figure out our values. Sounds titillating, doesn't it? So come back each week to get the updates on all of that. Okay, I'm feeling inspired today, so let's jump right in. So if you've listened to the intro to the podcast, which I'm sure you have, you will hear me talk about this whole authentic version of you thing. And some of you may have it all figured out and are like, girl, I know who I am. And others of you might be like, Josie, I hear you, but I have no clue where or how to start. And either way, I've got you covered. This is just the first step in finding out and or remembering who the fuck you are. So today's episode is all about assessing your self-awareness and identifying your values. 2 very important steps in discovering your authentic self. And the first step, I'd say the first 2 most important steps and building a better version of yourself. So let's get into it. The first step to unveiling or revealing your authentic self is to assess your self-awareness. So self-awareness, I'm going to break it down in really simple terms, I guess. Self-awareness is the ability to tune into your own feelings, thoughts, and actions. And having self-awareness gives us the power to influence outcomes. And then it helps us essentially make better decisions and gives us more confidence and who, you know what I mean? Who we are, what we stand for, all that. We can communicate with clarity and intention, which allows us to understand things from multiple perspectives, which I think is a key to communicating really well, is to be able to see multiple sides of things and not just, you'll hear me talk a lot about victim mindset. So I think that being self-aware and then also being able to view things from other perspectives really helps you communicate so much better, more effectively, I will say. So your the reason why I wanted to start with self-awareness is it's because it's the key to understanding your strengths, your values, and your passions. So I want you guys to take a moment and reflect on what makes you unique. It could be physical, mental, spiritual, whatever it is. We all have things that are unique to us. So start by identifying those qualities. The second part of this initial step is to think about what drives your actions. Are you someone who mainly puts himself first and will act based on your own needs? Or are you someone who uses other people's wants and needs to inspire action or change in your life? Or are you somewhere in the middle of those 2? Now, I will say, if you are the first type of person who acts based on your own wants, needs, and desires, you may or may not have a leg up on your counterparts, depending on how you look at it. But if you are the second type, we just need to get you to a place where you're focusing more on your needs and as well as setting healthy boundaries for yourself. But boundaries are going to be covered in another episode. The next step, I'm basically just going to walk you through each of the steps. Also, all of these notes, and all the steps, will be in the show notes. And if you are interested, I will send you my self-awareness questionnaire just to like get you going or get your mind like if you're like Josie, I don't even know like for real, I have no clue where to start or what questions to ask myself. I have a little questionnaire that will like prompt you and you can start asking yourself specific questions to gain more awareness. um so the next step is to reflect on both your strengths and your weaknesses. Ask yourself what you're naturally good at. And I can hear those people that are like, I'm not naturally good at anything. And I just like to say, you're fucking wrong. But if you're not aware of what you're naturally good at, or you're unsure how to identify like what your natural strengths are, I do encourage you to ask a friend or like someone whose opinion you respect. I'd say family, but I don't know your situation. So someone whose opinion you respect, who, um, isn't just like your yes man. And in case you're like, what the fuck is a yes man? The yes man or like your yes man is somebody who's always like will tell you what you want to hear. So like if you go to somebody and they're like, you have this idea or like you want to do something and they're just like, oh yeah, I think that's a great idea, and they like don't give you any honest feedback, that's your yes man. And then you have your authentic friend, right? Like I'm going to put this in terms of girls, like guys, if you're listening, I'm sure you guys have the same dynamics. I'm not going to speak from the male perspective because I'm obviously not a male, but I'm going to assume that you guys have the same dynamics where it's like you had the man that you're like, I know this is kind of a fucking dumb idea, but this is my hype man. Like he's going to be like, yeah, dude, let's fucking do that. Or like, yeah, I totally think you should do that, just to like be your yes man. And then you have the homie that's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you thinking, no, that's a terrible idea. You should definitely not do that. So just, I would go to somebody who is not your yes man, who isn't just going to like blow smoke up your ass and be like, oh, you're like the greatest fucking person ever. Not saying that you aren't. I'm sure you are an amazing person, but it is really important to get that opinion from somebody who will be, I don't want to say critical, but I want to say will give you an honest opinion. That's why I said somebody that you respect their honest opinion. So it's like if you're asking, the next part is like your strengths. It's easy to like tell somebody, oh yeah, like you're so great, and then like not really mean it. But it's not easy to be like, oh well, these are your weaknesses, or this is where I feel like you could improve on. I have, it's so funny because I have my friend in mind that I'm like, if I want an honest fucking answer, like that's the bitch I'm going to, because I know that even if I don't want to hear it, she's gonna tell me. Like she's gonna be like straight up with me. Shout out to Lauren. She will always be like, keep it 1,000% real with me and be like, nah, Josie, like, what are you doing? But if it's like, she's also like a big, I don't know, she's kind of both. No, like, well, she's like my hype man when it's like it's a good idea. And that's why when she's like, yeah, Josie, like you should go forward with like that. Like I can tell that you've obviously thought this out. Like this is not just some random shit that you're doing that you're like, hey, I wanna do XYZ. So but she's my hype man too, because she's like, yeah, like when I need that little extra like I believe in you, she's my go-to. But anyway, so when you go to ask somebody what your strengths and your weaknesses are, make sure that it's somebody that you respect and you trust. They're like that they're giving their honest and like most sincere opinion on what your strengths and weaknesses are. So yeah, now that we've covered that, what a yes man is and what like your authentic friend. I also want you, so this is something that I did because I was like, when I was like really trying to figure out who I was again, like, you go, at least I did, I went through life and I said yes to a lot of things and I did a lot of things because I thought I was seeking external validation, and I was like, I need these things in order to seem successful, or like I have my shit together from the eyes of everybody else, but really on the inside, like I was not. I was chaotic and I was miserable. And so this next step is, you might be like, what the hell, Josie? Like, why this step? Why is this important? But I think it is really important. So let's just get into it. I want you to list out the things that you enjoy doing. And if you're not sure, like what you actually enjoy doing, like I know a bunch of us are like, oh yeah, like I go out and I party, like I hang out with my friends and we like, whatever it is. And if you like truly enjoy that, like that's cool. That's totally fine. But like, um, I want you to more or less think of like the things, this is the part. I want you to think of the things that you enjoyed doing when you were a kid. Like, did you enjoy? I loved to draw. I loved to paint. I loved to write. I would write songs. Um, Anything creative, like I really enjoyed doing. And I noticed, like, when I stopped and looked, and I was like, wow, man, like I really kind of stopped doing all of that. And like maybe I should start implementing that back into my life to see if I like it again. Do I enjoy even like the adult coloring books, you know what I mean? Like we all kind of enjoy sitting there and just like zoning out for a minute, and it like kind of brings you some sort of peace. So I want you to think back to like what you enjoyed when you were a kid. Excuse me. Please excuse my voice in this episode. I don't know if it's my allergies or if it's I'm getting over a cold or what it is, but the pollen here is ridiculous. For any of you that live in North Carolina, you know what I'm talking about. But just bear with me for this episode. I promise the next one will be better as far as like the quality of my voice and me not coughing. Okay, so I want you to think about the things that you enjoyed doing as a kid, whether that be, sports, being creative, writing, putting on a performance. Like I'm just like naming stuff that I enjoyed as a kid. Your inner child, like that inner child will tell you so much about yourself. I I will get into how we come to this earth and blah 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 whatever, like how we know who we are, like when we're first born, right? Like as far as like coming down into earth and like being the spirit, like the soul that we are, and embodying a baby. Like when we're little, it's like we know the things that we like, right? Like it's I can go to my 4-year-old and say, hey, do you like this? And she's like, no, I don't like this. And I don't push anything on her, right? Like I try to do my best to not push my perspective of the world because of the things that I have experienced in my life on my journey. I try not to put that on my like on her, like, oh, like I wanted to be I wanted to play the guitar. I wanted to be a singer. So don't you want to do that? And I don't know, like my mom kind of did that to me. Like, I love my mom, no offense to her, but like she wanted a lot of more education that she didn't get. And so it was very important for her to be like, Josie, you need to go to school. And like, you're not successful if you don't have a degree and blah, 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 blah. And I just don't want to do that to my kid. I want her to trust her inner voice and be like, okay, like, yeah, I really enjoy doing these things, and these are things that feel good in my soul. Or no, I don't really care for that, and I don't want it to be like shoved down my throat, like, oh, you have to be like an all-star athlete, or you have to play this sport because I played this sport and I was never good enough to make it to where I wanted to be, and now I'm going to put all this fucking pressure on you to be this incredible athlete so I can live vicariously through you. If that's you, fucking let me know, because I know so many people that are like that are like, oh, like I just do things because like I know it'll make my parents proud. Guess what, baby? Your parents had their own life, and maybe that wasn't their calling, and maybe it's not yours either. So if it does not resonate with you, stop doing that shit. Anyways, getting back to what we were actually talking about. If you haven't learned by now, I get off on little tangents. If you haven't learned, you're going to learn today. Now that you've got that list together, make note of the things that you are not great at, right? Like the things that you're like, or you don't enjoy doing. Again, I say like, if your parent was like an athlete, like, I don't know, played high high school ball or something like that, was like MVP of whatever fucking team. I'm not I'm not really into sports, but and they put that on you, but you don't actually enjoy doing it. I want you to make note of that too, because that's important. Like, make a note of the things of like, oh, I really do not care to do these things. And so that way, like, oh, well, I don't need to go out of my way to like try these things. Or maybe do be like, I don't like these things, but then be like, oh man, I haven't done these in years. So maybe I do. Maybe I should give this a try again, or um whatever. So now that you've got that list, um everything in life is about balance. In case you didn't know, it's about balance. So don't think if if your list of weaknesses is longer than your list of strengths, that you're doomed or something. You're most certainly not. It just means that you have plenty of room for improvement. We're going to talk about a lot too, shifting your mindset, and again, getting out of that victim mindset or that victim mode of where it's like everything in life is against you. Everything in life is not against you. I promise. I don't mean this in like to sound like a dick. Like, let's just keep it layman's terms, right? Like, I don't mean to sound like an asshole. I can't even talk today. What in the world? But you're not that special. Like, the universe is not, God is not seeking you out because you're so special that they have to ruin your life. Like, things in your life happen to help you progress to be a better version of yourself. And once you get out of that victim mindset that like, oh, the world is against me, trust me, I've been there. I'm saying this with all the love in my heart. I've been the person that's like, everything in my life is fucking going wrong. Like, why does God hate me? Like, why does the universe hate me? What did I do to receive such bad karma? But once I shifted my mindset, I really saw like how much the things that I have experienced in my life have molded and created a very resilient woman. Like like I can do anything. Like, the amount of shit that I can do, like if I really want it and I put my mind to it, I can do anything. And the same goes for you. Like, I'm not special in saying that like I can do that. You are the exact same. You can do anything. I think I mentioned it in the first episode, or like the last episode, that I was like, whether you tell yourself you can or you can't, you're right. So like, I want you to get out of that victim mindset. Life is not happening to you. It is so happening for you. So take your lessons and really try to figure out, sorry for such a long pause, try to really figure out what it is that is trying to teach you, because you will continue to experience that same situation. Maybe the people are different, or maybe, circumstances are different, but the lesson's the same, and it's going to keep happening until you learn the lesson. But anyways, if your list of weaknesses is longer, you're definitely not doomed. You just have plenty of room for improvement, which is a great thing, You'll also hear me say a lot that you have to fall in love with the journey in order to appreciate the destination. There's always something to be, going after, to be achieving, a goal to be accomplished. And it's like, once you get to the goal, that getting to the goal doesn't make you any happier, right? It's just like it's a box you check. Okay, well, damn, did that. What's next? You know what I mean? And that's like the beauty of life. So it's like, when you fall in love with the journey of whatever you're trying to get to, the work that comes with obtaining your goal and obtaining what you want, like, that's the beauty of life. It's never the destination. I mean, how many of you have been like, oh, like, once I get this job, then I'll be happy. Once I start making more money, then I'll be happy. And then you get the job and you're making more money and not really any fucking happier. Like, it's still a job. It's still just money. And it's like, the more you make, apparently, the more you spend. That just seems to be the trend, right? So it's like, you constantly have to make more, which isn't a problem, right? That's a possibility. There's plenty of money to go around, so you can always make more money. But it's like, when all you're looking at is the destination instead of the journey, like, you're never going to be you're never going to get to the point where it's like, enough is enough. Like, this is all I need. It's always going to be like, you're going to be like reaching for things that are what you think will make you happy versus, again, shifting your mindset and being like, oh wow, like the beauty is in the process of like learning how to do this or how to be this way or like developing this habit. Not that it's easy. It's definitely not easy. But I I like to use like the analogy of like famous athletes. I don't know who's relevant currently, so we'll just use who can we use? Uh, Muhammad Ali, right? I like boxing. So Muhammad Ali, right? He was not born the Muhammad Ali that everyone now knows. He started out as an ordinary kid and like put in work and dedication and trained to become an amazing athlete. And while I'm sure he did have natural born talent, talent will only get you so far. You have to develop the strength and your skills to become great at something, no matter what it is. So whether you were, you know, going to the gym, if you're trying to eat healthy, no matter what it is, it's like you have to start somewhere. And guess what? You're probably not going to be great at something when you start out. And that's fucking awesome. Like, again, fall in love with the journey. Like, it's fine that you're not great at something. Like, nobody starts out being great at something. You know, you might be really good at it, sure. But it's like to be great at something takes a lot of work, and it's so worth the work. Excuse me. Okay, now that we have the list of what we're good and bad at, the activities we like to do, and a general idea whether it's easy for us to take actions for ourselves or others, I want you to think about what your values are. Now, if you're not sure what values are or what values are in general, values can be defined as an internal reference for what is good or bad or desirable or undesirable in ourselves and in others. They are our moral principles based on beliefs, and they are so significant to us as individuals that they drive our behavior and our interactions with others in the world. Our values can be broken up into different categories such as personal, interaction, and business, as well as others. But for the purpose of this exercise, I'd really like you to focus on the personal and the interaction. To break that down Barney style, as one of my drill sergeants used to say, personal values are the values that you use as a guide on how to treat yourself, and interaction values are how you interact with and the expectation that you have when you're dealing with those around you. As a former people pleaser, sometimes I do find it easier to think of others first. So I will share my top 5 interaction values with you first, and then I'll go into my personal values. So number 1 on my interaction values is respect. So I think that this one's fairly self-explanatory, but obviously this is something we're taught like in kindergarten, right? Essentially, like, treat others as you want to be treated. And also, while we are on this subject, I despise the phrase respect is earned, not given. And while I understand, like, to a certain point as it pertains to like authority or even age, I also believe that no one is more important than me, and neither am I to anyone else. Basically, let me say that one more time. No one is more important than me, and neither am I to anyone else. So what I mean by that is basically we're all equal, and I don't give a shit about your title or how important you think you are. We all breathe, bleed, and die the same, and I will certainly show everyone respect until you give me a reason not to. So I'm going to be, you don't have to earn my respect, right? Like, I'm going to freely give that to you because you're a human being and you fucking deserve it. But if you decide to disrespect me, then my respect goes out the window. You know what I mean? And I will still be respectful up to a certain point, but it's like, I'm not going to I'm not going to disrespect you because I feel like you are less than me. You're not. No one is better than anybody. I'm no fucking better than anybody else, right? I said it again, like on the first episode, like I'm just a soul in a body. Everybody's just a soul in a body. We're all here to learn our own fucking lessons. So like, I don't have to, like, I'm not going to go out of my way to be a disrespectful asshole to you because I think that I'm fucking better than you. And we all know those people that are like, oh, well, I'm fucking better than you and you better give me my fucking respect and blah, 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 blah. No. Like, first of all, if you come at me with that energy, like, oh God, I don't like that. So I really do think that respect, it should just be given. You know what I mean? Unless somebody disrespects you and then you need to, again, I don't even want to say disrespect them. It's more of like, okay, I'm going to adjust accordingly and you can see my more like serious side and then we can go from there. You know what I mean? So again, the phrase that I want you to remember is no one is more important than me and neither am I to anyone else. So we all come here, we start out the same and we end the same, right? All right, jumping into number 2. Accountability. To me, this is one of the greatest fucking values a person can have, is the ability to take ownership and responsibility for their actions, good, bad, or indifferent. If you fuck up, just say you fucked up. Like, there's nothing wrong with owning your shit. The good, the bad, the ugly. Like, when you interact with other people, if you make a mistake or you hurt somebody's feelings, fucking own that shit. Hey, dude, my bad. Like, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I didn't realize that I offended you or I hurt your feelings or I whatever, fill in the blank. But now that you made me aware of it, I'll own that. Okay, like I can validate your feelings and say, okay, hey, like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I won't let it happen again, or I'll work on it, or like, just be accountable for your shit. If you make a mistake, yeah, man, hey, at work, if I make a mistake and it's 1,000% my fault, and I know it's my fault, even when I don't want to say that I take the blame for other people, but it's like I'm accountable for my actions. I understand things that I could have done better in the situation. And again, that takes work. You know what I mean? Especially when you're not used to being accountable, or like you shy away from taking accountability when it's bad, So accountability in a person is top. Again, I have a long list of values, but I'm just giving you my top 5. So top 5, accountability. Number 3 is honesty. And I want to say this one takes practice. And when I say that, I mean that if you have to be honest in a difficult situation where you have the potential to hurt someone's feelings, it does take some skill to get your message across in a way that you don't. I'm going to have to lock you up when I'm recording. Sorry, my dog. Okay. It does take some skill to get your message across in a way that you don't come off as an asshole. And when I was like really working on my honesty, I struggled with this one a little bit. Because at like one point I was like, I'm just going to be honest whether it hurts somebody's feelings or not. And that like didn't really end well for me. Excuse me. Because I was just kind of being a dick. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be honest. Good Lord. It's one thing to be honest and, I think honesty is important, but it's another thing to just kind of be an asshole and be blunt and not really give a fuck about the other person's response or how they feel. So that one takes some practice if you're not used to being honest in delicate situations. Just practice. Work on that one. All right, number 4. Compassion. So I think it's really important to try to understand the other person's point of view. While you're, how do I say this? While your actions or your words may be justified, that doesn't always mean that they're right. So just because if somebody comes to you, right, and they're like, hey, say somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, Josie, when you said this really hurt my feelings, or it made me feel this type of way. And if I'm like, oh, yeah, but, blah, 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 blah. and I try to justify why I said that. Now that's not saying that you can't take that step, right? But it's like, okay, again, the accountability thing. Oh, hey man, I didn't realize in that moment that I said something in a way that upset you. So, right, like I'm showing that other person compassion, like, okay, like I'm validating your feelings, one, right? Like I was not aware of that. Like when I said this, I didn't realize, when I said I didn't like your shirt, let's just pick something random, right? When I said I didn't like your shirt, I wasn't trying to like bring you down or make you feel bad. And I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. But, and it's always the but statements that are like, it negates everything like nice that you're trying to say, right? And while I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, I was just being honest. But if you don't want my honest opinion, you know what I mean? It's like if you don't want my honest opinion next time, or if you would rather just not have me, like, if you know that my honest opinion might have the possibility to trigger you or like make you feel some type of way, maybe next time don't ask me for my opinion. And again, your delivery on how you say things is super important. Um, Anybody who's in a relationship, I don't know if women, when men are taught, I used to say this to my ex-husband all the time, that's why I say this. Men and women think very differently, first and foremost. It's just a fact. It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad that I don't always think like that. I don't think like a man. I love my woman brain. But a lot of times in relationships, maybe in friendships too, but romantic relationships, I used to say to my ex-husband all the time, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. So it's like, I think that your delivery of how if you want to justify why you said something or, why you hurt somebody's feelings or blah, 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 whatever, that's fine. But like, if you are completely negating how they feel, you're kind of being a dick. But if you can be like, hey man, like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. Like maybe I could have said that in a different way. You know what I mean? And again, like showing them compassion and like trying to understand their point of view. And maybe that, if somebody was like, I don't like your fucking shirt, you'd be like, all right, cool. I do. I don't care. But not everybody's like that. So compassion, super important. And number 5 is integrity. I haven't always been like this. Again, like as you grow and you like develop who you are and the type of person that you want to be, and you understand your morals and your values, and you become more self-aware, I have the expectation of those in my life to live with integrity and be a decent human being. Like that doesn't mean that they're perfect either. Let me clarify that. That does not mean that they are a perfect person, right? But it does mean that they have a good moral compass and essentially embody all of my top 5 values for an interpersonal. You know what I mean? Like, I want somebody to treat me that way. You know what I mean? Like, again, we learned this in fucking kindergarten. Treat people how you want to be treated. It's as simple as that. And also, like, treat yourself kindly, because then people will treat you kindly. You know what I mean? Like, if you're letting people walk all over you, like, you are letting them do that. Right? Like, I'm not, and I've been there. I've been the person that I let people walk all over me. So this is not me being like, oh, well, you're shitty. Like, you fucking suck. That's not me saying that to you at all. This is a personal development. Like, I'm trying to get you to find who you are at your core. And we are all such like strong, magnificent, amazing beings. And at some point in life, hopefully not, maybe you don't have a whole bunch of trauma and you don't have to sit here and be like, well, I need to really work on myself. I think we all do. We all do. But it's really important for you to remember who the fuck you are. Like, you are not some little weak thing. Like, there's no way God, the universe, whatever you believe in, there's no way God put you on this earth and was like, yep, I'm gonna put you here because you're a weak little thing. I wanted to say weak little bitch, but because you're weak. No, he put you here because you have a purpose, and you just have to remember that. And that's what I'm going to help you do. So, the top 5 values for myself. This is how I treat myself. So, your personal values are how you act as a person out in the world, and also how how you are to yourself. Again, coming in the number one spot, respect. I need to be respectful of myself, right? I obviously value this. But like on a personal level, to me, it means that I won't allow somebody to repeat behaviors or behaviors or actions that continue to hurt or hinder me. Like I have enough self-respect that's like, I'm not going to let you walk all over me. I've been that girl, and that place fucking sucks. Like it sucks, right? Like, so I have enough respect for myself that I'm not going to let somebody like one push me around or like bully me into some shit that I don't want to do. I'm not going to let you talk to me however you want to. Like again, I will treat you with respect and tell you how I feel. But like if this is a repeated behavior, like it ain't happening. We're not going there. All right, number 2, growth. So my goal, I have now dedicated my life, as I sound all cheesy. No, but my goal in life is to just always grow and evolve as a person and to strengthen my skill set a little each and every day and never become complacent. In the military, there were signs, like when I was in the military, there were signs like, especially basic. I remember this in basic a lot. There were signs everywhere that basically were like complacency kills. So like when you get complacent on the battlefield, like that might get your buddy killed. You know what I mean? That might get your ass killed. So it's like you cannot become complacent and like be lazy. Like you have to, keep your skills sharp. And it's the same thing in life. Now, granted, it might not be literal life or death, but it is a key, like complacency kills. Like it could be the difference between you living a life that you enjoy waking up every fucking day and like doing your thing and enjoying people in your life, or you wake up every day and you're miserable. You can't stand the people that are around you. You're constantly looking for an escape. You're constantly, you want to go drink all the time. And I'm not saying that drinking's bad. I still drink sometimes, but I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. So it's like we use these things as distractions to like escape life, right? You drunk, everybody's like having a good time, laughing, hee-heeing it up. Like that's great for the moment, right? But then what happens when you go back to reality? So complacency kills. That was the whole purpose of that. Complacency really does kill. Like you can either settle in and be like, all right, well fuck it. Like I have my vices and this is my life. I accept that this is my life. I hope you don't. Oh baby, I hope you don't. Life, it can be so much more beautiful than trying to escape every fucking moment because you're so miserable. I promise you. I've been there, and on the other side, like it can be so much better. And that's not to say that I don't ever have bad days or I don't ever have days where I'm like, ugh, like I do just want to run away or like be an ostrich and go stick my head in the sand or something. You know what I mean? Like I do still have those days, but we got 7 days in a week, right? 5 out of my 7 days are usually pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I work a 9 to 5. I get fucking tired. And some days I'm like, I don't want to go do this shit. So it's like, I understand, like, you know what I mean? But I, again, am growing. I am working on getting to a place where 6 out of my 7 days I'm waking up and I'm like, this is fucking amazing. And I can't wait to live my life and wake up and just enjoy this day. You know what I mean? And every day is a blessing. It's not promised. So growth. We're all about growth here. The next one, number 3, is open-mindedness. I think this is really an understated yet valuable attribute to have. An open mind, right? I think it's really important to understand that you're not always going to be right, and there will always be something that you don't know. And I personally strive to always have the mindset of a student. So that essentially I always want to be learning. Now that doesn't mean I'm cracking open that textbook and I'm highlighting and making notes and making PowerPoints, and that's not what I mean. But there's always aspects where you can learn things, whether that be how to interact with people, how to communicate effectively with people, whether you're learning a new language, learning an instrument, um, learning how to, learning your new side hustle, whatever it is, like, it's okay to not know everything. There's always going to be somebody who knows more than you until you get to the point where you're like, damn, I know everything. Just kidding. That probably never happens. I mean, even like leaders in business and stuff like that, like they have mentors, like they have people that they are constantly learning from. And it's like, in order to be that type of person, you really have to have that mindset that you're like, I'm going to grow and I'm going to learn, and until I can't learn anything anymore. I essentially, like, until they bury me in the ground, like, I'm going to keep learning. I strive to learn something new every single day, even if it's something small. All right, number 4, determination. For me, this is really just knowing and having an understanding about the power, again, I'm going to say, the power of my mind. That if I put my mind to something, I will accomplish it. Now, again, I mentioned that earlier in this episode. Whatever I tell my brain that it can do it. And if I tell my brain, no, I can't do that, I'm not going to do it. My brain's not going to let me do it. The way that your brain is on autopilot, again, I would like to talk more about like the neuroscientific, that is not a word, the neuroscience like behind your brain and how it's like literally on autopilot and how you need to reprogram it. This is just the very tip of the iceberg on how we're going to get you to like reprogram your brain, so that way you understand like how can I put this in terms of like computers, right? I'm not really a computer girl either. So like your server in the background, the shit that's like on autopilot, like you're just doing, like you're breathing, right? You're not telling yourself to breathe. I mean, if you're meditating, sure, maybe. But like certain things are on autopilot. And it's the same thing with behaviors and our beliefs. And like our brain is constantly scanning things to like prove what our thoughts are thinking. So if you're telling yourself, I can't do this, your brain is literally only looking for reasons why you can't do something. If you are like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure out a way. I'm going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen. I don't know how, and I don't know when, but I know that we're going to make this happen. Your brain starts looking for little tiny, like micro moments of being like, oh yeah, hey, you're one step closer to doing this. Oh, hey. And, you might have to be a little delulu at first, but that's okay. So be delulu. Who cares? But your brain will start finding little things to prove yourself right. So from a scientific standpoint, there's a little lesson for you today. All right. And then number 5, which kind of ties into number 4 with the determination, is follow through. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I need to do it. One, I need to do it for myself, right? First and foremost, I need to show up for myself so I can therefore show up for the people in my life. If I say I'm going to have your back, I don't know. If I say I'm going to help you move, right? I'm going to show up and I'm going to help you move, right? Because I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to let you down. It's the same thing for yourself. Like, I was just saying the other day, I wish I would have named this podcast, Bitch Be Selfish, because like, it's not selfish, but it is really important to focus on yourself, right? Like if you can constantly show up for other people and make other people happy and, have their back and be the person that they need, why can't you do that for yourself? Guess what? You can. That's why you're here. That's why you're listening. Because we're going to get you to that point. It is really important because guess what? I used to say this again when I was married. Going through a divorce teaches you a lot of shit. And we will definitely cover that topic eventually. But like going through a divorce does teach you a lot of shit. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? And that's not emotionally, spiritually, mentally, pick your aspect, right? Like I can't go get 2 red Solo cups, right? Go get 2 empty cups and try to pour something from an empty, fill one up with water. Try to pour that empty one. You ain't pouring nothing, you pouring air. Okay, cool. You ever been out of breath? That ain't fun, right? Go run a couple miles. You'll be out of breath. You can't, you're pouring air, right? So you can't pour from an empty cup. It doesn't matter physical, shit, even physical exertion, right? If you don't rest, you don't have the strength to go be physical, do physical things. But then you can't be lazy either. So whatever it is, you can't pour from an empty cup. So start doing those things for yourself. If you can say, "Hey, yeah, buddy, I'll help you move," or "Yeah, I'll help you with the kids," or "Hey, yeah, I'll do this for you," blah blah blah. If you can do that for everybody else, start doing that shit for yourself, because you can do it for yourself, and it's very important that you do it for yourself, because let's all be honest, nobody's like my entire Instagram feed is pretty much just like life coaches, motivational speakers, like motivational words and videos. But it's like nobody's coming to save you, right? No, nobody's coming to save you, and you have to save yourself. And I feel like that seems sad, but at the same time, it also gives you a lot of fucking power, right? If nobody's coming to save you, and you can only save yourself, you have everything that you need to save yourself, right? God sent you here with a little life raft. You got the life raft. Get in that bitch. Stop struggling. So, anyways, start treating yourself. Figure out what your values are, first and foremost, if you don't know. And honestly, like when if I'm being completely transparent, when I asked myself that question, like, I was like, damn, like your values are really important as far as like who you are and like how you navigate through the world. But I was like, what the hell are my values? And so I like literally sat down and wrote these out. Like I sat down and I was like, all right, these are things that, I just looked at the word and then I described them each to myself. Like, what is follow through? What does that mean? Well, if I can show up for other people, then I need to show up for myself. And I need to show up for myself first before I can show up for anybody else, because then I'm going to start feeling needy. Like I'm not, or resentful. I'm not going to do this for you if you don't do this for me. Forget you. Have you been in that situation? I've been in that situation. So now that we have all of that information, I just want you to take a minute to breathe, right? Like that was a lot. I was a lot. I like being a lot. In case anybody's listening and being like, this bitch is a lot. I know, and I like it. And everybody tells me, and I'm okay with it. At least once a day, somebody tells me that I'm a lot. But I like it. And it took me a while to get there too. I definitely used to quiet myself. So just take a minute and breathe. If you're feeling overwhelmed, like this is too much, you can't do this, it's easier to go and party and try to escape life because I'm used to that and I'm comfortable. I challenge you, like I really challenge you to like shift your mindset. I got you. Have a little faith in me. I got you. We're gonna get you through it. I always like to say that, like, life is a game. People take life way too fucking seriously. I've done that. I've been that person, right? But life is a big ass game. And first you have to learn the rules, and then you build your skills, and then you get to go play. And the better you've developed your skills, the more you get to play, and the more you get to win. And we all like to win, right? If you live in North Carolina, like I do, DraftKings, legal, like it's legal to bet now. All of my friends are obsessed, and they all like to win. You know what they really hate? To fucking lose. We all hate to lose. I bet my little $5. I didn't win nothing from it, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna bow out gracefully. Thank you. That was fun. Sure. But we all like to win, so it's like start making yourself a winner. You have so much power within you. Like as much as I can talk, right? I really wish that I could put into words how much power you have in yourself. You just need to shift your mindset to see how powerful you are. And it's not easy and it's not fun. Sometimes it's fun. It gets to be fun. Again, fall in love with the journey so you can enjoy the destination. Fall in love with the journey so you can enjoy the destination. Um, but you are so powerful, and like the life that you can create for yourself. I don't care what anybody is telling you. Tell everybody to shut the hell up. You don't want to hear it. You're gonna do you. You're gonna be the best version of yourself. Um, you're gonna do it. I have the utmost faith in you. And if you feel like you don't have, um, anybody in your corner, like everybody, if you really feel like everybody's against you, like nobody understands your perspective, like you're different, you're the black sheep, right? You're different. Your family's making fun of you. Your friends are making fun of you. I'm here to tell you it's okay. It's all right, baby. Let them make fun of you. And when you succeed, teach them the way, right? Old Josie would have been like, tell them, fuck you. But no, but once you learn, it's try to teach them the way. You know what I mean? That's all you can do. Um, but we're gonna get you there. I promise. I promise we're gonna get you there. It's really on you. I make the promise that we're gonna get you here if you stay with me, if you tune into these podcasts, if you reach out. Like I said, I'll give you the questionnaire. If you feel like you don't have anybody that you can talk to, I am here. I'll put the email in the show notes, and you can reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. Like I would, because I've been in that position too, where it's like I didn't feel like I had anybody, and I was the odd man out, and I was talking all of this crazy shit, and everybody around me. Even now, I still deal with that on a day to day. Like I love my friends to death, but they talk shit to me all the time. It's fine. I love you guys, and I know that they love me. Not the path that you are meant to be on isn't for anybody. It's your fucking path. So it's like even when people are like they may not understand, that's all right. That's cool, man. It's not your path. And that's all right. You have your own path. And I might not understand their path, but you know what? I still love them. Just like your family. Your family still loves you. Your friends still love you. Even if they don't understand, you got to start. I need you to start working on yourself, baby. I need you to start working on yourself. You got to look in and you got to build yourself back up. Like the world has been tearing you down. You got it. We're hitting the gym. We're hitting the self-development, bettering ourselves gym. That's what we're doing. We're going to build your skills up. So like I said, if you feel like you're completely alone and nobody understands you, and what if I don't have the strength at this point in time to do this on my own? I got you. Hit me up. I'll put my email in the show notes. Y'all can reach out. So again, like I said, if you've listened to this whole thing and you're like, dude, I was fucking driving. I could have written none of that down, or like whatever, wherever you're at, if you didn't write it down, I got you covered. I will send you the self-awareness exercise if you want it. Like I said, email me. I'll send it to you and you can get started. Remember what your values are, write them down, talk them out. Shit, start a conversation with somebody. Ain't nobody talking. Everybody's on their phone now. Start a conversation. That is one of my favorite thing about my friends. Like, we will have a conversation. Even if we disagree, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to have the conversation. Like, just get the conversation going, Ask other people what their values are. And if they don't know, shit, talk it out. All right, let's wrap this up because I'm getting a little long-winded and off topic. This week's challenge. So every week I'm going to give you guys a challenge to do outside of, like this was the lesson, like take the lesson and then go do your homework. Again, if you do or you don't, it doesn't affect me, right? Like I'm over here working on myself. Do I hope you, take this lesson and do the homework? I really hope you do, because it's only going to be better for you. Like that's really all I want, is to help people be a better version of them. If there's something that like you want to work on, not that that somebody told you needed to work on, but if there's something that you really want to work on and you're ready to do the work for yourself, I believe in you. You can do it. So, and either way, it doesn't affect me. I appreciate the love and the support, and like I said, I'm really here to foster a community where people want to learn and grow and better themselves, and help other. If you better, this is where I say it's not selfish, but I should have named this "Bitch Be Selfish." That's might need to copyright that, whatever. Patent pending. But it's okay to be selfish, because like once you're a better version of you, like you get to help more people. Like it's the gift that keeps on giving. But it is like once you give that gift to yourself, that you're like, damn, bro, like I really took care of me. Like I really did this. And like you will be so proud of yourself. Like, and not in an arrogant way, but you will be like, damn, like I really did put in the work, and I healed that. And my life is so much better for it, right? So here is your challenge for this week. Number 1, explore your interests, right? I talked about like your inner child and figuring out what they like to do, and like who you were when you were a little one and what you like to do. So like explore interests. I challenge you to try something new. Like what's an activity you've been wanting to try but keep putting off because you're scared or you don't want to be embarrassed or whatever. Go try something new. What did I do recently? I don't know. I'll come back to that at the end if I think about it. Go do something new, even if you're scared, even if you're embarrassed. Like, shit, I used to be embarrassed. Oh, here we go. Train of thought, choo-choo, coming back. I used to be embarrassed to like go out to eat by myself. Like I thought it was like embarrassing. Like, oh, how sad. Like she's all alone. Like why doesn't she have any friends? Or why doesn't she have a boyfriend or like a husband to like come and sit and have dinner with her? The amount of peace that I get from eating alone now, like I will go to a restaurant and be like, table for one, please. And like enjoy my whole ass meal like in silence, and just like if you have kids, you get it. Like going out to a restaurant every week, my daughter and I go out to Mexican. It is a challenge. Do I get to like I love it. We do it every week. I love it. But it's not a meal that I get to sit down and somebody cooked for me and they're bringing it out to me, and I have a nice sweet tea, or if I feel like having an adult beverage, like whatever, I got a nice drink, like I get to enjoy my meal. I get to enjoy every single bite of that meal. And that, again, once you shift your perspective, when I was all like, oh, I don't want people to judge me, and I don't want to be embarrassed, or I shouldn't do this. Now it's like, it's a reward for myself. Like, damn, I am being pampered. I am being taken care of right now. Like my service is great. My meal is great. My drink is great. It's really all about your mind. Your mind is so powerful. Oh God. Okay. Anyways, go try something new. Number 2, seek feedback. So like I said before, when you're doing the self-awareness thing, like ask somebody, or if you're good on your own, you can identify all your stuff. Still go ask somebody, hey man, what am I really good at that I don't know? Or like from your perspective, what am I really good at? What am I bad at? Like what's something that I can improve on? And like take the constructive criticism. Well, like sometimes you're an asshole, like because you say things like this, or like you're always like blah 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 blah. Or you know what I love? I literally just did this for somebody. Hey, you probably didn't notice this, which this is not how I approach this person about this, but you talk negatively about yourself a lot, right? Like I notice that you're always putting yourself down. Like you should work on that. You know what I mean? Like it could be like constructive feedback like that you are not aware of how much if you do that in your mind, right? Like how critical we all are of ourselves in our mind. Like maybe you don't realize that you do that shit out loud. So like go ask somebody, like what am I good at? What do I need to work on? And again, a trusted friend, a mentor, somebody that you respect their opinion. One, that they're not just going to be an asshole and just beat you down, right? Because we don't need that shit. And two, they're not just going to be a hype man and not tell you anything like, oh, hey, man, like I noticed that you do this. Like, one, are you good? Like, check in on you. But like, I noticed that you talk down about yourself a lot. Like, you should really try to improve that because you're a great person. You know what I mean? So go seek some feedback from somebody. And last but certainly not least, embrace your vulnerability. Allow yourself to be your authentic and vulnerable self by expressing your true thoughts and emotions. Again, I am not telling you to go out to the world and be an asshole. I've done that and I've hurt plenty of people's feelings, but I was still in a space of hurt. We've all heard the saying, hurt people hurt people. So I'm not saying go out and be an asshole, right? But like if you start something small, you know what I mean? Like everybody talks, right? We all got a group of friends that we chat with. The next time somebody asks your opinion, give your honest opinion, your authentic opinion. Even if you think it's gonna like spark another conversation or like you have like the odd opinion out, right? Say your authentic thing and then have a conversation. There's nothing wrong with a conversation. And if shit gets heated, agree to disagree. That is my favorite line to use. When I notice, like I'm a passionate person, I'm an Aries, I am a fire sign through and through. So like when I feel something emotionally, I feel it. It doesn't matter, good, bad, ugly, like it does not matter. When I feel something, I feel it. So it's like if I get to a point in a conversation where I can tell that I'm like one, either getting defensive or two, like my mindset is closed or like I'm like you're really not going to change my mind about things. Two things I will not talk about on this podcast are religion and politics. But religion is a topic for me and my stepdad where we get to a point, you know what I mean? Like we have a friendly little badminton round where it's like we're tossing ideas back and forth. And then it gets to the point in the conversation where, all right, now you lost me. So then I always say to him, with all the love in my heart, I love and respect my stepdad so much. Like, I love that man. I really do. But I say to him, all right, Pops, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Like, this is where I'm tapping out. I'm done. I'm done with this conversation because then I am, here we go with the self-awareness thing, right? I am self-aware enough that I know when I'm getting pissed off and when I can be ugly, when I have the opportunity to be ugly, like, I'm going to take that opportunity to bow out. And when I say ugly, like that means like I have the opportunity to be an asshole and just say whatever's on my mind and like I don't give a shit about like I said, I respect this man very much. I'm not gonna say things or to intentionally hurt him or to intentionally piss him off. I'm not gonna do that. I have enough respect for myself and I have enough respect for him. I'm not gonna do that. I bow out gracefully. We can pick this conversation up at another time where I'm not in an emotional state where I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna be an asshole, essentially. And we do. All right, well, we'll pick this up. And it happens every time. So anyways, that was just an example. But embrace your vulnerability. Share your opinion, even if it's different than those in your friend group and your family, whatever. Share your opinion. If it sparks a conversation, cool. If people get a little touchy, bow out gracefully. As always, I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble on, and I hope that the information is helping at least one of you out there. Remember to follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and soon on YouTube. This will be a video podcast eventually. I'm still working out some technical difficulties on that. Like I said, enjoy the journey, baby. Enjoy the journey. So yeah, follow us on all the socials. email me if you want the questionnaire or if you just have any feedback. I would love some constructive criticism. Obviously, this is a new podcast, so like if you have any feedback or like things that you want to talk about, email me. Let me know. I'd love to if you want to share. I would love that. And like I said, if you didn't catch any or all of that information, it will be in the show notes. You can follow me personally on Instagram at josiedickerson_TCP. That's all I got for you. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next week for the second episode of the Awakening Authenticity mini-series. All right. Love you. Bye.